Welcome back, everyone, to the Skating Penguin Network. It's Robbie here, joined by Snail, as always. And it is the evening of Monday, April 27th. And the Penguins just wrapped up game 5 of their first round series against the Philadelphia Flyers. And there's still a long hill to climb, but the Penguins are still alive in this series. A 3-2 win, a gut check win for the Penguins on their home ice to extend this series to at least a sixth game later this week. And it was a crazy back and forth hockey game. But in the end, the Pittsburgh Penguins close the door in the third period and walk away with a win, their first win at home in this series. And suddenly the series is 3-2 as we shift back to Philadelphia. But before we talk about game 6 and what to look forward to, we'll talk about game 5 right now. And Snail, they needed it. You know they need every one of these games. And it wasn't always pretty. Some iffy goaltending by Shilovs at points. But the Pittsburgh Penguins find a way once again to lock down the 3-2 victory. And suddenly we are now staring down a game 6 against a Flyers team that has to be asking some questions, because right now all momentum resides with the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Well, to be honest, I just, even when the chips have been down, I've constantly questioned that that if the Flyers are that good, that they were that much better than a good Penguins team all year. And, the goaltending for the Penguins, it feels like they have to be perfect, but I don't think that's really the case. They just can't have they can't have the big gaps in performances. They've already gone from Skinner to Shilovs. Shilovs just needs to keep doing what he's been doing. I think Skinner could have kept doing what he'd been doing. It wasn't Skinner's fault. You want to talk about some goaltending questions, look at the other, and Dan Vladar has had kind of a difficult time handling the puck behind him. And you saw that goal today that kind of pops in. I mean, that just reminds me of some Tristan Jarry type behavior.
Well, we'll talk about that a little bit later, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
But I mean, when you're in a situation like this, you just need a lot to break your way. And tonight, the weird goal, I mean, it's time they got a bounce. I think Philly would say that they got most of the bounces in games 1 through 3. But tonight, the Penguins get a bounce. And in a series like this that's tight, and you need everything to go your way, like, you just take whatever bounce. Every goal counts the same. It all gets written up the same in the box score. Nobody is going to remember this a month from now, or even like 24 hours from now. All they're going to see is 3-2. The Penguins force a game 6, and they in both of these wins, they've done what I said they needed to do, and they made the Flyers chase the game. They get up early. Elmer Soderblom draws back into the lineup. Mantha finally makes his presence known with a nice pass, and Soderblom gets on the board, his first career playoff goal. And then they get the 2-0 lead. And honestly, I think everybody that's a Penguins fan would have loved that 2-0 lead to last more than 10 seconds.
I think it was 6 seconds.
Whatever it was. But you have to say, it could have crumbled from there. It very easily could have fallen apart from there. To have the air taken out of the building that quickly could have been a big blow. But the Penguins, they just kept finding a way. And the Flyers did tie this game in the second. And then Letang just put the puck on net, man. Just get it there. And it takes a funky bounce. Vladar, he didn't know where it was, got lost in his skates, and it crosses the goal line. And when you're a team like the Penguins in this situation, you take them however you get them. And that turned out to be the game winner because in the third period, I thought the Penguins looked like the 2016 Penguins. They just shut that shit down in the third period. Just a masterclass of defensive play, which, I mean, you don't expect that from the Penguins, but full credit to Muse and his staff for getting this team ready to just play shutdown hockey and preserve these last 2 wins.
Yeah, they've definitely been able to find their footing better. And I think part of that is kind of what we've talked about in prior games. The first 3 games was the Penguins needed to plant a seed of doubt. This isn't the 70s Habs or something like that. Like this is the Flyers who weren't in a playoff spot really all year. They had a pretty good run there towards the end of the season where the Penguins had played pretty steady and consistent four-line hockey all year, and they'd been stymied for 3 games right when you really least need it to happen. And they planted a little bit of a seed of doubt. They got the momentum going their way now. And yeah, to your point, Robbie, like they're going into Philadelphia, a lot of pressure on a young Philadelphia team. And the way they played in that third period, the Penguins have the momentum going into their building now, despite still needing 2 more wins to close this thing out. And, basically there is up against the ropes as you possibly can get without being in a game 7. They're going into Philadelphia with the momentum here, and they need to carry that over. They stopped playing that Philadelphia game. They're not involved in the kind of the dumb stuff as much. Sure, save that take a number, and next year when you play them for the first game, let all hell break loose, and you can take dumb penalties and whatever. But right now, they need to just have a short memory and keep rolling the lines. And yeah, like things like that are going to happen. The Flyers, their structure, the way that they're playing, I feel breeds chaos too. It breeds chaotic hockey. So when things like that happen with Shelovs, where that bump, whatever his name is his name Alex Bump, something Bump.
Yep, he drew in for
Michkov,
who we have talked about multiple times,
or lack thereof.
We mentioned his ice time, and now it's gone from a handful of minutes to flat out being a healthy scratch. So very interesting situation going on there. But Alex Bump draws into the lineup, gets the Flyers kind of back in the game right after Connor Dewar went bar down to give the Penguins a 2-0 lead. And that definitely changed momentum a little bit, but hey, credit the Penguins for still buckling down and finding a way, because it was just about 2 minutes after the Flyers tied it that they were back in front for good with the Chris Letang kind of pinball goal.
Yeah, pinball goal. We'll take it. But yeah, that short memory is really important, I think, in games like this, where
absolutely
those first couple of games when the Penguins were down, you could see them sulking and their play kind of fall off, and they were trying to stretch plays out. They were playing high risk hockey, which to a certain extent I understand you need to kind of do. You need to take more chances when you're trying to come back from a 3-0 deficit or something like that. But man, didn't see much of that the last couple of games, and today that bump goal could have spiraled them and become a loose thread that picks at them and unravels, and it pretty soon the Penguins could be chasing, but not tonight. I think that the leadership group, like Crosby and them, they seem so composed. Malkin, Letang seems far more composed than he's been in those first couple of games, and they're doing what they got to do. I guess the one thing that you could really critique in the game like this is, they had a couple of chances on the man advantage, and their power play looks not prepared. I don't know how else to describe it. They just don't look like they really know what to do on the power play. I refuse to even at this point, I refuse to believe that the Flyers have an uncrackable code of defense on the penalty kill. They weren't great on the penalty kill all year, and it's a mental thing on the Penguin side at this point. If they could elevate their play to being as gritty and kind of getting their footing back 5-on-5, if they could figure out their power play like how it was during the regular season, I think I'd be a little bit more confident going into Philadelphia. But that's something that's got to get fixed, and I just don't know how. It seems to be like in past years, it's a mental thing. It's slow passing, perimeter passing. Malkin and Sid seem to be in some sort of conversation at some point talking about what they were seeing, because they were on 2 different pages when that first unit was out there.
Yeah, power play has been a huge letdown in this series so far, and I think you just got to start mixing some stuff up. You got to get Chinnikov, I think, or Ben Kindle even on that top unit. I think you just got to try something a little bit different. They had multiple opportunities tonight where they could have extended the lead with the main advantage, and they failed each time. Again, Philly doesn't need their power play like the Penguins need theirs. So like you have to just make them pay. I mean, Philly is going to play rough. They're going to uh, take some liberties, and when they get whistled for it, you got to try to take advantage of it. You were able to do that on Saturday. Crosby got that opening goal in the power play, but you when you have a chance to compound the lead and make it just a little bit harder, especially on home ice, you got to cash in on those opportunities, and they just have not been able to do that tonight. And there was a couple opportunities or different times during the season where when the Penguins were blowing leads and stuff, they blew opportunities with the man advantage to either get the lead back or extend it and give themselves a bit of a cushion. So, yeah, they need to just figure that out. Whatever they do at practice tomorrow, I would focus mostly on just trying to figure out that unit. I know Minnesota has been doing kind of the same thing. They've had massive troubles right now. You just got to get something going with that unit because in game 6, or I mean, if it gets to a game 7, that could be the difference. Like just one of those power play goals could be a massive difference in this series. And right now you're at a 3-2 series advantage. If you would have told me it was 3-2 after 5 games, I would have been thrilled. I didn't expect it to go this way to get here, but this is where we're at now. We have to go back to Philly and win another one. But the power play, man, that would make everybody's life a lot easier if that would find a way to maybe pour in a goal or two on Wednesday night. So at practice tomorrow, get those units out there. I don't care if you just start throwing pieces at the wall and see if anything looks like it works, and try it because that would be a huge momentum changer on Wednesday night if they would find a way to cash in on a power play or two.
Absolutely, Robbie. You brought up Mantha a little bit ago. I'm just curious, what took Mantha 5 games to play like that? I'm a little frustrated with the guy, to be completely honest. A little disappointed in the effort. I think for a guy like him, he doesn't have a really any sort of success in the playoffs, despite his, veteran career at this point. Mm-hmm. He's got all the confidence in the world, you'd think, coming off of a 33-goal season, being the leading scorer of the Pittsburgh Penguins on a 1-year deal. You'd think he'd go in with nothing to lose. I don't know if it's a mental thing, if it's doesn't want to make a mistake, maybe because it's such a tighter game out there. Maybe he's a little bit less willing to kind of take those risks, Robbie. I don't know what it is, but he looked engaged today. And that's been, I think, a gripe of Mantha's his whole career is the engagement factor. And I get it. Maybe it's tough to be engaged on like a bad Detroit team where you're going to be facing a rebuild for a decade. Maybe it's hard to seem engaged when you're, on a Calgary team that is probably not making the playoffs. He seemed to play pretty big, when he was with the Capitals and maybe a little bit lackluster in Vegas. But I don't know. I think that if we could have gotten a few more games of that Mantha, that you talk about the power play being a difference maker coming into this next game, these must-win games for the Penguins. I think that you'd maybe have some different results if you'd gotten that, but better late than never, I guess. And I hope to see him roll that over in Philadelphia and not be the dumb penalty guy, not be the in-your-face aggressor or anything like that. But PK said it best on the thing. Show us what a forecheck looks like from a guy that big and get the puck to pop out and find those guys, those depth guys that know how to score. That's what I want to see more going into this next game from Mantha, big time.
Agree with all that. And I think what's crazy is I think Mantha's at 19 career playoff games right now, and he has not scored a playoff goal. Wow. That is, even for like an enforcer type, like that is, Garnet Hathaway has a goal in this series. Elmer Soderblom has more career playoff goals than Anthony Mantha, and we didn't know who he was 2 months ago. That's very true. That is someone that definitely needs to find a way to mix it up. He's made some really bad plays in this series too. Like it hasn't just been he hasn't been scoring. He has actively hurt them at times. And again, it's still a guy that's playing for a contract somewhere in the offseason. So we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, Mantha, I think he has a big goal in him. I think it's still in there somewhere. Hopefully we see it Wednesday night, obviously. But you have to, yeah, I just don't know what he played so good for 82 games. Like, he was their best goal scorer this year, and then it came to the playoffs and he can't do anything, really. Like, it's just been very bizarre how he's just completely changed kind of the way he's played. And you think a guy like him, the way he played, his style would fit perfectly for a series, not just a playoff series, but a playoff series like this against Philadelphia. So definitely hope that we can get a Mantha goal here at some point, and kind of building off the Mantha train of thought, how he's been playing. Egor Chinnikov could really use a goal right now as well. Connor Dewar shot the puck like Egor Chinnikov on his goal tonight. But, man, Chinnikov's getting some shots. Just, man, you got to hit the frame. Hopefully, like Mantha, he has that magic in him for Wednesday night, because that shot needs to make an appearance in this series at some point. And, heck, that's why I think you need to put him on the power play. Just get him the puck. You know he's going to pull the trigger as soon as it hits his stick. And no goalie, when he places it perfectly, no goalie is stopping that. So here's the hoping both.
He could have hurt a dude who tries to block it too. I mean, I know that sounds gruesome, but like, he shoots the puck so hard. There's you put him on the power play. That shot blocking is going to diminish a little bit when they see him with the puck on his stick, Robbie. Like, it's a tactic. All of a sudden, you block one of those and it stings you, and it gets right back to him. You're going to be way less likely to get in front of it again. I think I agree with you. I mean, I fully agree with you. Get him on the power play. And, that's always the sign of a frustrated fan starting to play coach here and telling, but that's kind of where we're at. And I just think with Chinnikov, he seems a bit overwhelmed with the lack of time and space. He's used to that regular season where he gets that puck and he can really kind of pick where he wants to put it with that like 90 something mile an hour wrist shot. With the time and space gone, he's clearly struggled. He's rushed. He's panicked a little bit. The puck is not finding him as clean and crisp, and he's a little bit more panicked, I feel like, once it's on his stick. But if you can get him on the man advantage and he gets just a little bit of time and space to kind of do his thing, he becomes that lethal shooter again. And the power plays aren't clicking right now. So what do you have to lose, in my mind, right?
Yeah, I mean, the time and space, it's limited in the NHL to begin with, but it seems to get even tighter in the playoffs, especially against a sound defensive team like the Flyers. So, yeah, I think you just need to use some of that speed, too. I mean, you are a fast hockey player. You showed that during when you came over from the Blue Jackets. Use some of that speed. Just all he needs is a sliver of space, just enough that he can get that shot off properly, and he can blow it by anyone. So here's the hoping. They tell him that, get him some power play time, because I want to see that shot on the power play. And building off that as well, like we did the previous segment, I thought the Penguins, for the most part, for the first time this series, made Vladar work in a high danger situation. They only had 20 or 21 shots, but I feel like they made him work. And when you can make a goalie work like that, that's when goals like Letang start happening. He gets a little out of sorts. Again, Dan Vladar, great season, but like, he's not an all-world goaltender. Like, there is vulnerabilities there, and I think when you start making a goalie think, making him try, he expends a little more energy. That's when weird stuff starts to happen, when the puck falls behind him. The glove hand maybe drops a little bit. Maybe just some stuff just stops working like it did when he had an easier time at it. So credit to the Penguins tonight. I thought making him make saves in high danger chances definitely changed his frame of mind a little bit, and definitely gets him thinking heading back to Philadelphia.
Yeah, seed of doubt, man. Vladar, last time I checked, is not prime Marty Brodeur. He is not Dominic Hasek. He was, kind of a destined to be a backup who, I think, behind a good defensive system, he's emerged as a number one in Philadelphia. No knock on, his career, but I mean, I think playing behind that structure, that's where he's really flourished, and he's kind of a big guy too, so that helps as well. But it's not like he's it's not like an uncrackable code that the Flyers are playing, and he's not a goaltender that I think should really scare the Penguins, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, coming into the series, I knew he was putting together a pretty good season, but like that's not a
For
guy
sure.
that would strike the fear into my heart. That's not like going up against
Carey Price.
a Carey Price, or I'm just trying to think like
Vasilevsky 3 years ago.
Yeah, Vasilevsky literally at any point, but especially during those cup years. Connor Hellebuck. You just some of these names you throw out there, like all right, but like okay, but or Bobrovsky the last 2 years when he was running through the Stanley Cup playoffs with the Panthers. Like again, the Penguins should be able to solve him to a point, and I think just making him work definitely ups your percentages of getting pucks by him. I think that's a huge part, and that worked tonight. You got the freaky goal at the end, but hey, maybe something's going through that brain now that's making him just a little seated out, and
make him second guess a little bit. Maybe over get you see it with goalies that don't have the confidence. Maybe they come too far out on a play because they remember something. They have flashbacks of something that happened a game before, or they're so used to these games playing each other game in the game. You kind of find yourself everyone becomes a little bit more predictable. But if a goaltender starts second guessing himself, that predictability is not so much of an advantage anymore. Those weird bounces like we saw tonight, like the one Letang scored on. Just chaos is your friend as far as you're the one causing it when it comes to the goaltender.
Yeah, and likewise on the other end, I wasn't sure about the decision, but and tonight a little bit shaky tonight, especially on that bump goal. But Artur Shilov's dude, you throw him in the playoffs, whether it's the NHL or the AHL, that dude just seems to flip some kind of switch because he made some big saves again tonight. Credit to the Penguins defense, but man, Shilov's, I mean, that's 2 for 2 in this postseason now. He has a winning record in the Stanley Cup playoffs, going back to his time with Vancouver. But listen, the dude, he just shows up when it matters, and nothing against Stuart Skinner, but right now, Artie Shilov's, obviously you go to him in Game 6, and he's just playing, just doing what the Penguins need him to do, and that is stopping the puck from going in the net, making some big saves, and keeping momentum with them when they need it. So much credit to Shilov's coming in cold in this series, and just kind of finding his game again at the right time.
Yeah, man. It's an adjustment that you're unsure about, but nothing felt sure around that time when they decided to go with Skinner. You're down 3-0 in the first round, on the verge of getting swept, and now you're going back to Philadelphia 3-2 with a chance to even the series up. It's credit to Shilov's. He's clearly he's got something there when it comes to pressure. Clearly he's got kind of an it factor. Regular season, he's only really had one regular season in the NHL, which was this season. And say what you will about it, the Penguins made the playoffs with him as he was there as whether he was starting or the backup, aside from maybe one little injury stint. But going back to his time in Vancouver, his time in Abbotsford, and now with the Penguins kind of coming in and I don't want to say saving their bacon quite yet, but he's coming in and he's helped make an impact to get them to turn this thing around and make it a little bit more of a series. It's he's got some sort of high pressure factor, man, because it just seems to be what he does best is perform under pressure.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Maybe they just need to start telling them, hey, man, this is a playoff game. 82 playoff games is what's on the schedule. But, I mean, yeah, straight up.
Going to be 84 next year.
Yeah, I forgot about that, that they are expanding or extending the season by 2 games. But other than that tonight, penalty kill good again. Again, Flyers aren't relying too much on that. But like the Penguins, I mean, the Flyers get a power play goal. That could really be a big difference in a tight game. And credit to them. They were, I believe, at least killed 2 or 3 penalties tonight. Some in big moments. So yeah, mad credit to the PK unit tonight.
Yeah, big time.
Big performance from them. Again, She Loves is a part of that as well. I mean, that's not just the four guys on the ice. She Loves is a part of that as well. But so now that we're back, we clawed 2 games back. The vibes are obviously much different than they were even Saturday night or Saturday during the day. So mentally, what are you thinking right now as we get ready to head to Philly for Game 6?
I think where I'm at mentally, what I'm thinking for this Game 6 is the Penguins need to understand that they're going into that building with the momentum. As much as they're going to hear the chants, the crowd is going to be obnoxious as ever. The Flyers are going to be playing into that as well. It's going to be part show. The Flyers are going to be trying to get themselves into it because they're going in there a little bit wounded. The Penguins need to understand that they have the upper hand right now and just be as zen as they can, man, and just understand this is all mind trickery. We actually have the momentum here. And once that puck drops, it's just trying to roll the lines, trying to do what, Sid's been setting this example of, and these other guys have been setting this example of trying to get back to your game that you had all regular season. And don't take your foot off the gas is basically what it is. Pedal directly through the floor, pinning it. That's what you got to do in Florida. And just
Philadelphia.
Did I say Florida?
Yeah.
It was a long day today. Philadelphia.
Yeah.
In Philadelphia.
Yeah.
That's what they got to do, man. Pedal through the floor, and just they've got the momentum right now, and you force a Game 7, man, and it's a coin flip, but you're going back to Pittsburgh. You can't win, like you've been saying. You can't win a couple of games in one. They can't win both games on Wednesday. They got to go in there and do shift by shift. They need to win every shift. Get the power play going. Stick with the PK. I think you go in there with the exact same roster you had tonight.
Oh, yeah. I don't think you're changing anything unless there was an injury we don't know about yet. You go straight up the same exact lineup as you did tonight and roll with it. I think you don't change much. Work on some little things in practice tomorrow. Try to iron out some details with the PK, and then just right back to it on Wednesday night, because it's simple. It's win that one, and then it's Game 7 if they win on Wednesday, and then how Game 7s work. The Penguins have to play 7. The Flyers do not. The Penguins know they have to play 7 to win this series, so might as well. I mean, they give you a full schedule for a reason. I see no reason they shouldn't take care of business on Wednesday and get 7. Might as well get every ounce of it. You're back in the playoffs for the first time in 4 years. You might as well get every ounce of enjoyment out of it, even if it kills us in the process. But
I can't say these games have been enjoyable to watch. It's basically a white knuckling until the last few seconds drain off, and then it's elation.
Win or lose, it's a pretty miserable experience watching watching these games. I kind of forgot just how miserable you can be at points, even when your team is winning. Sometimes it actually hurts worse when your team is winning. The absolute deflation it would have been if the Flyers would have found a way to tie that game in the last minute. It's somewhat it is definitely not great for the health. But I wouldn't trade it for the world. I love playoff hockey. I'm so glad the Penguins get to do it again. I know you are as well. There's no doubt about that. And now we get a day off on Tuesday and prepare for Wednesday. The job is simple: win that game. And that's really it. Just win Wednesday.
Yeah, and Kevin Shovel-Dayoff, I think it was last year, or maybe it was earlier this year, maybe during the summer. He said there's really only 2 feelings: it's winning and hell, and that sums up playoff hockey, man. As a fan, it's winning and hell.
That is about as good. And sometimes it's both at the same time. That is about as succinct as I can, as I've heard it. And we haven't even got an overtime game yet out of this series. But
honestly, I don't know if I could handle that.
No, I could not. In terms of everything else going on around the league, the Hurricanes have ended their series with the Senators. We talked about that on Saturday. The Kings are out of the playoffs. They were eliminated in a 4-game sweep by the Colorado Avalanche. So 2 sweeps in the first round, both by the top seed over the lowest wild card. In those series. So that was quick. They'll have a long time off. I would assume that some of these series are going to go 6. So we know the Penguins are going at least 6. They could have been done Saturday, but they're going to go to at least Wednesday, and hopefully we get another one out of it on Saturday. But Snail, I don't really have anything else for this one. Do you have anything else before we wrap it up?
I just think we should maybe we shouldn't. I was going to say that. What do you think of the call in Edmonton or in Anaheim?
I think I don't understand how it was called a goal on the ice, but I think it was the right call.
See, that's where I think the NHL has gotten itself into a bit of a conundrum because it was a goal. Like if you wanted to get a tape measure out, you know how big the puck is, but because of these rules they've implicated with replay, it could have been an actual goal that didn't count because of the camera angle, because of the camera view. So I think it's weird because by the rule book, you probably shouldn't have called it a goal. But we all know that it crossed the line. I saw a hilarious photo today that was like what Edmonton fans think a hockey puck looks like. And it was like the hockey puck with like an elongated top on it. And it's like, we all know that puck crossed the line.
Yeah, I mean, I think the call on the ice was a direct reaction to how the Ducks were celebrating. Ryan Poehling straight up pointed to the goal like he was the ref, which I thought was very funny. Somebody I saw said that unless that puck is shaped like an eclair, that's a goal. If you know like what a red line is and the shape of a puck being a perfect circle, there was you could easily draw the conclusion that puck had fully crossed the line. The goalie in goal, obviously, of all people, was Tristan Jarry.
It's the most Tristan Jarry thing, man. I'm so glad we're done with those days.
The perhaps the most ironic thing of it all is like he played good in regulation. Like he put together a pretty solid game, and that happened. That's how it ended. I think he's
the most Tristan Jarry thing to happen. This is what he did to Penguins fans. You keep rationalizing. You go, well, he played so good that game, but we somehow lost because the puck was under. Like it happens. It happened in Pittsburgh too often. You'd find yourself going, God, the defense must have blown it there because he looked so good. He was, he only let it. It was a 1-goal game. And then you find yourself, it's like, the puck was trapped under his skate and it was called a goal, or the puck landed on his pad and someone teed off like it was a golf shot on the 18th hole and he scores off of his shin pad. It's always some goofy monkey business with Tristan Jarry, man. And I'm so glad that Edmonton and Connor McDavid can go on ahead and have fun with that because, like you said, it's weird. You can't really point a finger at him too much, right? Like it goes off Darnell Nurse's skate and it trickles 5-hole and he's not quite able to seal it under him. And it's in overtime. I'm also, Robbie, how glad are you that you're not the referee having to make that call?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's not an enviable position to be in. Same with the replay guys in that situation. I'm sure the replay guys are like, thank goodness you called it a goal on the ice because that makes our job a heck of a lot easier. We can, unless we see something definitive to overturn it, we have to go with that call. But if you understand shapes and lines, you understand that puck was definitely across the goal line. It could not have happened to any other goalie in the league. It was always going to be like that with Tristan Jarry. But hey, not my problem. Not our problem.
Not anymore. Well, Robbie, right. I think that was it pretty much. Like we'll be back on Wednesday to cover whatever outcome that is. Hopefully the Penguins keep rolling.
Yeah.
But man, another white knuckling, just a white knuckle sitting on the couch game tonight.
Yep, and it's going to be the same on Wednesday. Whether they win or lose, it's going to be the same. But
it's not ending anytime super soon. So,
but we will be back on Wednesday night after the conclusion of Game 6 to discuss that one. So, in the meantime, for Snail, I'm Robbie. You guys have a good Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll talk to you after Game 6. Until then, enjoy some playoff hockey and stay safe.